penny. Says connection excellent, but I don't see a video. Did I do something wrong? Oh, there I am, I think. Wow, it's slow today. Very slow today. So how's everybody doing today? I hope that somebody shows up to see all of my wares. We're going to be talking about stuff, anything you want. Let's wait for people to mosey on in. Say hi to Terminator. He's over there. You got Phil up here. You know, Phil's cool. You know, how's everybody doing today? Today is about just kind of chatting and hanging out and discussing some of the stuff I'm working on. But realistically, it's about getting to know subscribers, getting to know all you fine folks out there, and having a chat for whatever you want. And that's the whole point. Just have fun, you know? All trolls are welcome because I know I'm going to get them. I know for a fact I'm going to get some. Always happens. And they're so funny. But what I'd like to do today is address, just anybody's questions. Um, get to know people, talk about the projects I got going on, talk about a very interesting interaction with Mad Components that I had in regards to some batteries and some connectors and everything else. And I might be noob in this one, but I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, it is realistically about customer service and the fact that if anything shows what why we need stateside infrastructure for these particular parts, um, it's going to be that email string that I had on that last video I put up with Mad Components. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, how you doing, Lorax? How you doing? Welcome to the chat. We're just hanging out, talking about whatever. I'm focusing on some of the projects that I'm working on, but we can just talk. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Welcome to one David, well, Lorax. We've got the Maverick traveling. How you all doing today? I appreciate you stopping by. Chosen law. Why do people from what from Germany only drink water? You lost me on that one. I okay, I kind of get it, but wow, that was borderline. So, Lorax, what are you up to? You keep saying hi, Robert. Yeah, you get it, Robert. You got the joke. I got the joke too, but I was like, why? You know, um, that's the thing about Germany. Anytime they start a war, it's like with the entire world, never just with one person. Petersburg address. I went to my boss's funeral yesterday and landed down and said, "Oh," I leaned down and said to him, "Look who's talking outside now, Gary." Love it. That's funny. Robert, welcome to the chat. Um, it's Today is more of a chat, hang out, talk about what you want to. If you're interested in the projects that I'm working on, This channel is about experimental drone building and like just right now I'm working on the DARPA Lift Challenge. So I had some interesting interactions with Mad Components when it came to battery connectors on one of the videos. It was very funny. Um, uh, why would I shave my beard? That's sacrilegious. I should time you out for that. I'm not gonna shave my beard. Why would I shave my beard? Shave your beard. Uh, yes, there will be no beard shaving. Uh, see, if you're not gonna shave it, I'm not gonna shave it. And come on, I mean, it's a beard thing, man. No, I won't. You'll just be the guy walking around with a shaved, no beard. It's the answer. You know, I'm telling you, that ain't gonna happen. I mean, as beard people, we understand that this is not just a look. It's about extra food storage and things like that. I am building a DARPA drone. And it's for the DARPA Lift Challenge, and it's part of the conversation I wanted to go through once we get past everybody, kind of popping in and saying hi and whatever. Is the email string I had with people in China? Customer service sucks big time. So I am not going to shave. Don't worry. I am not going to shave my beard. Not going to happen. But you're jealous of the beard or the build. Come on, Peter. No, like, trust me, like, I'm not gonna shave my beard. Not gonna happen. Welcome to the chat, by the way. You open a can of worms. You did. I kind of like the fact that I still have the red and the gray coming in and stuff like that, and then I've got some kind of like gray thing going on, like the middle here of my hair. It's what is from a bong mean? Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you. I need to get some new ones. To be honest with you, bifocals are starting to. Would I shave my beard for first place in the DARPA challenge? No, I would not. I would not. I'm not shaving my beard for anything. If it saves your life, I'm not shaving my beard. If I had to shave to save another human being, I'm sorry, man. Somebody chose your path for you. This is my beard. That's all there is to it. But on the bright side, if anyone watching my Hellfire test videos, we did recover B44. A neighbor brought it back over to me. It was very, very interesting. They're like, I got a picture text, and they're like, "Is this yours?" It was funny. This one's got a C67 in it, so this one will be fun. Johnny, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. You lost me. I know everyone's like, shave your beard, shave your beard. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna you know what? I might trim it if you guys all join the channel right now. I might trim it. I'm not gonna cut it off. I'll tell you that. But I'll get a trim. I need to anyway. But if you all join the channel so that you experience the wonderful content that's going to be coming in the future, because I haven't been putting out a lot of long run content because I've been busy with the DARPA challenge. Lots of work. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Johnny there, man. Um, I, I don't know if he's making a statement or asking a question, but it sounds like he's got a supplier that's been fooling him for a while. And this is when the people fall off on the chat. I don't know why, and the viewers and everything like that. But I've been working with, okay, so for example, we have this tiny little 12S battery, 20 amp hour, which is one of the packs I'll be using on the drone. And this is the 2x7 connector that you need to balance charge it with. I have the charger for it. I'm putting this over there because that's a scary freaking thing to play with. You don't want to puncture that battery. Um, the email string I had um, was very interesting. We'll get into it after our beard chat here. That's commitment. The Pettysburg dress. That's commitment right there. You're like, I have to shave my beard to save my own life. No, I'm dying with it, man. I'm just going to look good in my casket. I don't even know what a sugar rig is. Oh, that's the Terminator thing I made. Yeah. Well, it was a couple of skulls. I've got Phil up there. And then you know, the Terminator right there. Just some lights running in the background. Make me not so boring in the shop while I have the lights down. Um, because behind that's a CNC and then a couple planes sitting on it. Oh, everything back there is 3D printed. I plan on flying it eventually. But it seems like every time I get the equipment, then all of a sudden the weather doesn't want me to fly anything. Actually, just beat stage 4 cancer. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. It means it's not your time, man. It's not your time. You still got you got things to do. Yeah, I'd be thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be alive every time I wake up. I got a memory foam mattress with a short-term memory. I'll tell you one thing right now. It knows exactly where to hurt me though. But I mean, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds. You know, it's like the memory foam mattress is probably like, you're killing me. You know? Wow, another what is this? You guys how did this subject start? Yeah, so is your breath. I mean, realistically, uh, I'm glad if your cancer's gone, but you know, we don't. I know you got to sigh, right, sweetheart? You gotta love the trolls. That it's fine. Let them. It's totally fine. The comedy is. I mean, it's not Matt Rife, but it's up there, kind of. You know, they're doing their best. Um, you have spaghetti for lunch. Congratulations. Actually, sounds pretty good. Nothing like leftover spaghetti, right? Put cheese on it, put it in the microwave. Full trailer cuisine. It is just brilliant. You know, everyone's why are you guys talking about the bong poop or something like that? You guys you're buying the wrong product, I think. And you know, cannabis is legal in California, so I could talk about it. It's not a big deal. But I feel like I think your dealers are probably fooling you somehow. Just putting it out there. I would do some quality checks. I did make, yeah, I have 3D printed. I have Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon, and I love Arduino and stuff like that. So I put that thing together right there. Yeah, yeah. I think Tammy is you're one of my newest trolls. I welcome. There's a corner over here where the rest of them are. We know you have spaghetti for lunch. Yeah, I know, Jake. It's just I get I attract the strangest trolls. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I they ask me to shave the beard and then they start talking like really weird stuff like that. It's just I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's because I'm good. I'm good looking. That's all there is to it. The only thing missing is a decent cleavage, and then I'd have more viewers. So yeah, it's just the way YouTube is. They're like, we have rules about respecting other people and not exploiting and blah blah blah. But if a girl gets on here, you already know they're gonna have like 13,000 active viewers. Not me though. I appreciate your subscription, Jasmine. I really do. And I am glad that you're part of the team. You're gonna see some really really cool stuff in the future. If you see any, I do experimental propulsion. Okay, and I have a lot of really good ideas I can't show, and a lot of stuff that I try to make that I can show on the channel. But this is about making impractical things fun so they become practical. It's not the glorious beard attracting the trolls. What is it? I want to know. I was gonna show you guys some cool stuff, man. Like, okay, it's like for the I don't know if anyone's familiar with that's watching right now is like into drones or anything like that. One of the motors I'm going to be using is this bad boy here, 24S. We're talking 88 volts nominal. It can handle 100 volts. And I'm not fooling around when it comes to building this thing because I want to make sure that I win the DARPA challenge or at least come close. They'll be run by this ESC, which was all of this was super expensive thanks to my investor because I'm on debt bennies, man. I can't do this myself. But look at the prop that this thing is swinging. I'm running two of these main props right here, 40 inch. It's swinging these. I mean, I'd show you the whole design, but I really can't at this point. So I mean, it's gonna be fun for sure. The battery pack. Well, I'm using two of those packs, and they come in at about well, about 16 pounds roughly. My all up weight is 55 pounds on the craft, but the all up weight on the actual payload for the mission is 165 pounds. VTOL crafts. So it's going to go from VTOL into forward flight. You got to fly 4 nautical miles, drop the payload. Then you got to come back 1 nautical mile, unload, and land. I've managed to do it so far with the math and everything, and I've already printed all of my parts, and I'm waiting for my carbon fiber wings spars to get here and things like that, and that I had to order. And I can do it and still have 51% battery left. How much power does it use? Well, I'm running 1.8 kilowatts total. So the VTOL portion of the mission only lasts about 8 to 12 seconds on ascent and then descent. So 768 watts, something like that, I think is the power that it burns. I have to go back over my math and look because I wrote it down. Evan. There's always an Evan. Good Lord. He always comes up every time he comes into the chat, it's the same exact jokes. The same exact, there's like four, maybe five jokes, and that's it. Yeah, it is pretty efficient. And actually, it's cool because I didn't expect it to have 51% left over. But the way I built out my wing surface and everything like that, and how many motors I'm using, it's a very interesting concept. I wish I could share all the details. I just can't at the moment. But once the competition's over and I'm able to take what I've filmed of the competition, and they're like, "Hey, it's okay, you can show the public," or whatever, then I will. I'll post that video for sure. But that competition happens on August 9th, 2nd through the 9th. I do have to do a pre-flight video. I don't think I can show that. I might be safe to show that at that point. My biggest thing is I don't know if DARPA's going to go, this is, we won it, so it's going to become our IP. And I don't want to tell the military or a defense agency that I posted videos of their aircrafts on YouTube. So it is very interesting. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, I planned. Yeah, absolutely. I um Pettysburg, I went through this build um with math first. Basically the entire, but even before I started CAD work, it all started with the math. What am I lifting? How far do I need to take it? What's going to be required for the VTOL portion of the flight, the forward flight portion of the flight, the 4 nautical mile run loaded, and then the unloaded nautical mile return. And the idea was start with math, figure out what you need, go from there. And it's a really cool design. Evan doesn't have a girlfriend. Dude's lying out his ass. You can't fit you and a girlfriend in a car bed. Yeah, somebody's like in the chat talking about poop and stuff. It's freaking ridiculous. Evan, the fleshlight doesn't count as a girlfriend. Yeah, these people that are actually saying stuff like this is it's just trolls. I'm used to the trolls. They don't. They're jealous because I'm sexy. Well, I mean, we could have a discussion about the design, but I just can't show the design because realistically, it's about unloading the discs after VTOL and letting the wings take over. We all know that people are going to do this. This is a publicly open project for people to enter. And I think for the first time, DARPA has actually opened it up to people who, even work in shops that were converted from a garage and do experimental propulsion. I actually designed the Shrike Ultra, which was an EDF drone platform that I built long before I even thought about the DARPA challenge. And then I set that one aside for a little bit because I'm building custom motors for that. And that's what the 340 millimeter SAROP drone playlist is all about. And then I started focusing my energy on building the DARPA drone. Yeah, there's a lot of trolls. I mean, what they don't realize is they're feeding the algorithm, which is good for me. But but it would be nice if they were actually in the conversation. But if you look at the Strike Ultra, you'll see what I was talking about. This 5 foot by 5 foot drone, 340 millimeter, 11 blade EDF, fully 3D printed. I made the first one basically out of PETG clear, and I put 1440 LEDs in it because I kind of wanted the first version for its appearance to be kind of, initial appearance in flight to be kind of showy. And it'll probably get a UFO sighting on YouTube, which will get more views than the video itself. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thanks for getting rid of that guy. Mythic's kind of um, has some issues, looks like. Go sit in the troll corner. Yeah, we know it's really you. You you were trying to blame. Hold on. Evan's saying some stupid shit. He's trying to blame his girlfriend, but it's really him, which I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. I don't know how you put up with what. Your screen time's up. Well, thanks for dropping by, Delson. I appreciate it. I think DARPA is more interested in secrecy. They are they are more interested in secrecy, I think. But I also think at this point, this particular competition is about innovation. They're looking for someone who can kind of think outside the box and go, okay, how do we lift more weight with the same craft and get it farther? And that's really, it's a logistics issue for them. So I don't know if Evan is or not. I don't care about his orientation, and it doesn't matter to me anyway. Evan's a he's a troll that keeps coming back. Sometimes he's funny, sometimes he's bored and not thinking straight and can't come up with anything really relevant or funny. Usually it's the same 4 or 5 sets of jokes. That's about it. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna say he probably does. Yeah, I don't know what he says. Yeah. Um, Everyone's just getting dined out. He's like, why do I attract all the trolls? Like, I can't have a conversation with anybody who wants to know, what's going on, or just have a conversation about what's going on in the world. Like the fact that we're decimating Iran, love it. Um, or the fact that I'm building experimental projects and things like that, and just trying to bring more fun to the RC hobby field. To be honest with you, to the best of my ability. And I've got a couple of planes up that I got to finish so that I can fly them. Uh, got a friend coming down and bringing some older aircraft, that we used to fly around, some foamies and stuff like that that we're going to take out and fly. But yeah, we were getting into the big stuff. Like, it was fun. Wow, everyone's just come in trolling like crazy. But bring it on. I love it. What I'm saying is 1100 LEDs and batteries with 51%. Oh no, that's not on the DARPA drone. The DARPA drone isn't running the LEDs. The Shrike Ultra is, which is the EDF drone. If you see any of my playlists on there, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's not going to be really any DARPA content on there at all. But if you check out the Shrike Ultra and then the Shrike Concept drone, which was the smaller version, which was this one right here, and I'm getting more motors for this one, hopefully soon. so that I can fly it again because the EDF version of this drone I already flew was freaking great. If you look up Shrike Maiden, you'll see the unedited version without music on the first version of this one that I flew at the baseball field. It was a lot of fun. It was a heck of a lot of fun. This one I designed because I wanted one to carry some lights so I could kind of fly it at night. So yeah, that was the idea behind this one. But sorry, battery connection. So um yeah, so this one's designed to fly at night, and it runs off of a SpeedyBee F405 Wing Mini, and then there's a 500 amp APD 5 power distribution board because I'm running a 6,000 milliamp pack in it. So that's a fun one. But if you see the original one fly, you'll see what I'm talking about. It was sort of my, I didn't really rip with it, while I was out there because it was a maiden and I was trying to get used to what I had just built. And it used 70 millimeter EDF engines, 6S, 22.2 volt, not the 14.4. And that's tiny for me. I don't want to do that. Why, yeah, why would I need a chick pad? Why am I wasting my time with something I'm competing to win $2.5 million? And then I can buy you a bigger car bed. Okay, Evan? How's that? Yeah, that's a good point. How do you know I don't have a home theater? I have a TV in my shop just for when I'm hanging out, building stuff. What's true? You haven't said anything truthful yet. Um, yeah, Petersburg is for whatever reason because it's engineering technical content. Not a lot of people get to see my channel. They're more interested in the 15 to 3 minute shorts of people doing stupid crap or whatever, putting gorilla glue in their hair or anything that has to do with the political war that seems to be going on in the country. That's anything about pronouns or whatever else. It's like it's insane. It really is. And it's like people ask me, they go, "You don't like any of that stuff? You don't respect people's pronouns?" I'm like, "Do people respect mine? I probably not. Why? Because I'm white, because I'm male. The feminists are going to hate on me. The people who are not, who hate straight people are, white males are going to hate on me. The people who hate Christians are going to hate on me. It's just all there is to it. And I just, you know, who cares? You want to waste your time hating, waste your energy hating? Go for it. I don't care. Makes me no never mind. And that's really all there is to it. So, and that's why my like the lower. I don't know what's going on with the. I can't see the numbers of the people watching. I honestly don't know who is. And I think YouTube had mentioned they were having problems with lives and everything else in YouTube Studio, but I'm always getting messages on the content creator portals. We're having issues with this. We're having issues with that. So, well, I appreciate it, Petersburg. I think you'll find the content interesting. I had to learn a lot from like going back to the drawing board on the because I had an original design aspect for an EDF drone, and then I had to kind of pull back from that original design and go back to a quad based system because then at that point I had jumped too far ahead and I really needed to learn about how the EDFs are going to interact with the flight controller as opposed to standard props. We're talking the D shot was I'm running D shot 600. I'm having to do gyro filtering and things like that. I'm 3D printing my own bodies for these things. Um, so yeah, that's the whole thing is is basically experimenting with things that would be impractical. And a lot of people said that the first one wouldn't work. They said it wouldn't. But again, if you look for Shrike Maiden under the Shrike Concept Drone playlist, you'll see kind of where I started, where I was going through different iterations of designs. And then I finally got to back to a quad style so I could kind of understand those dynamics first when it came to those high RPMs. And then everyone else who tried it after me was burning it up because they were running 4S, which the amps were too high for that. You can't do it on a standard stack. You're going to burn the capacitor like that. So what I ended up doing was changing to 6S on the EDFs and then piggybacking a 500 amp APD power distribution board and then running those motor controls to a SpeedyB F405 wing. And the reason why I did the wing is because this system is a modular system that fits in a larger aircraft called the Javelin. So and you'll see the Javelin as well, where I was experimenting with its design. But, money constraints, VA stuff, again, fixed income. Um, I had to take the one drone apart and then use the pieces to work on the Javelin's concept so that when I finally mated the two together, when I had the money to get all the equipment, then I would have a viable drone I could fly around, and then I could pop it into the Javelin, the Shrike core into the Javelin body, and then just basically hook up one plug in the battery, and I'd have a VTOL tail sitter jet that was just fun to fly. No landing gear required. You wish you were the nerd list. Well, right now, you're the only subscriber out here who's vaguely interested in what's going on. I've got 3 viewers. It's like so sorry to even do my lives anymore, unless I'm running the MPC and C back there. Nobody cares. Or if I'm not launching off a model Hellfire missile like I've been doing. I've been building stuff for a long time. It was just recently that I decided, a couple of years back, I've had the channel for a while, but a couple of years back was when I really started. You know what? I want to start getting into this because I really want to do my experimental builds, and it's expensive now to get anything at all. When it comes to that stuff, flight controllers, 3D printers that work good. I'm running X1 Carbon. Had to get, my brother got a loan for that just so I could have that. Because I could never really afford it. I started the very first Shrike I built was on the Ender 3, which I have sitting down here. Still a good printer. I just have no use for it except for um, maybe printing TPU or something. Um, and then I printed, like an A10 Warthog 1500 millimeter. It's got, the retracts and everything with it. Um, but again, I didn't get to finish everything yet because I'm on time constraints with the DARPA project. So I'm kind of focusing my energy on that because of what I have to build out. Everything's ready to be built out. It's been printed. And it all came off the X1 Carbon, this entire drone. So if you look back at like the Shrike Sarop drone playlist, you'll see what I did. I made a 5 foot by 5 foot drone with 340 millimeter 11 blade fans. And they're going to be 75 volts. Um, so they're 18S. And the DARPA drone's 24S. So that's 88 volts nominal, 100 max, fully charged. Tell me where to send the model Hellfire. Um, well, I thought about that, but realistically, I'm gonna be honest. It's for me, it's money. The investor, I can't just spend his money on the anything but the drone parts. That was pretty much the deal. And then he knew the risks. I'm either gonna win or I'm not gonna win. But either way, I've got a logistics product I can sell to a company or become a logistics company myself, moving objects and heavy deliveries, things like that. Um, so even if I don't place in the challenge, um, I still have an opportunity with this platform because it sort of pushed me into, okay, you've been engineering for a while and you've been trying to do some impractical stuff that's fun for personal conveyance, which is what the Shrike Ultra is for. That's why I designed it as an EDF drone. Um, and then you have to, and then I thought, well, let's get into some more. So the project kind of pushed me into a different mindset. So I'm still going to do the personal conveyance thing, but I'm also going to be doing the logistics part for companies or defense or the country or whoever needs this kind of technology. But it's all about the design because you can build a heavy lift drone and you can carry cargo, but it's usually one to one. And what I'm trying to do is beat one to one and also beat the distance that it can travel. So when DARPA decided to put out these specific constraints for their mission parameters, that kind of like was a challenge to me. That was like, okay, you can do this as long as someone will, invest in the parts. You can do this. So that's how I built it. Built it with math. Then I did the CAD work. Everything's been printed. And really, realistically, the only thing I don't have right now that I'm waiting to get here is the carbon fiber wing spars and the body spine, which is also a carbon fiber rectangle. Um, it's just they were back ordered and they were supposed to ship by the end of this month. If they get it here soon enough, then I can finish out everything and then basically do my test flight. Because like by the middle of May, they want me to do a test flight. So I went through stage one, stage two, which is the draft, and then the second stage was the build progress report, and then the third stage is the test flight, and or at least showing the construction of the craft being built. So, which I'm already at that stage. I'm just waiting for the carbon fiber to arrive. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get a pet. I just don't have that kind of money. I'm on. I mean, outside of what I'm doing here, and I don't make really anything off of YouTube um, because I don't have a lot of long run content. It's all about watch time when it comes to making money on ad revenue and things like that, or having somebody do like memberships or super chats, which I think are broken anyway at this point. So um, I'm basically relying on my vet benefits, which is I, I under 1,400, 50% service connected. So, but finding work with that kind of with some of the problems I have with a ruptured disc and the scars from a hole in my knee, and the way it messed up the way I walked and everything. Um, Having to use a cane every once in a while if I'm going to go anywhere. It's hard to find work because people are like, well, if your back goes out for a week, you know, until the disc calms down, and then no one wants to hire for that. How do you put that on an application? Yeah, I can work, but if the disc in my back goes out, I need a week off. So it's kind of like it's got me in a pickle. Yeah, check them out. Next time I go live, just be looking for that. And I'm glad you enjoyed the chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for subbing, and we'll see you around. But yeah, so basically, some of the stuff I'm going to be focusing on for the channel is going to be the long run videos for I'm going to get some flight time in. I got a friend coming down, like I said, with some planes. Oh, I would love that FMS Fox, like the night, like the 9 foot wingspan Fox. I loved the large gliders. I loved the large gliders, and FMS comes out with some beautiful gliders. And I'm going to be honest with you, if I had that Fox, I'd be flying it all the time, like all the time. And FMS, if you're watching, which I know you're not, because there's only two people on, then send one my way. I'll fly it, and I'll make sure that your logo's all over the skies like every day. Because I heard that plane on some of the videos that I saw, and I saw it coming in, and I heard it when you power it down and you're just gliding in, and it just makes the most beautiful sound because of its whole design. And I was like completely and totally floored by it. I mean, that's just I loved my first big powered glider was that Super Sky Surfer. And it was Banana Hobby. Yeah, I know. Banana Hobby. But realistically, the the body was good. All I did was modify it a little bit. I put a bigger prop on and I put a standoff on so I'd have more power, bigger motor. The prop was too big for the glider, so I went ahead and trimmed it down because I wanted that pitch closer to the center. And I turned that thing into a little rocket. I'm telling you, it was a good drone. 6 foot wingspan, not real big, but um, it was just I love those kind of planes. I love them. And I did get into the nitro for a little while. Found an old one in a garage sale, rebuilt it, reskinned it, and flew it for a while. That was a fun one to do. I got a couple of videos on the old school um, playlist, old school RC playlist. Was into rocketry and chemistry for rockets all for a while, and I still am, but it's kind of like shifting focuses now is just kind of something I can't do with this main project that I'm doing now. So it's I'm trying to make content for the channel, but at the same time I'm trying to finish a military grade logistics drone. So it's been a little bit difficult, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there for sure. Um, Luckily, it's all about timing. So I'm just about there, and I think everyone's confident that I'm gonna place in the top three when it comes to the challenge, but I know I'm going up against defense contracts and stuff like defense contractors, things like that, and large, um, avionics companies and aircraft companies and whatever else you can think of. So I know my competition is tough, but what they don't have in their kit that I do is just a little bit of crazy. And that's how you make something new. That's how you make something that you go, oh, that's impractical. But wow, look how efficient it is. You've got to put a little bit of crazy in everything that you do. A measured amount of crazy. Because that's how you get beyond the norm of what's going on. That's right. VDN 707. Crazy gets it done. I mean, think about it. I was born in the 70s. Okay. I watched Star Trek. And in that, they had the touch pads and the touch screens and stuff like that and the tablets. And we didn't have that back then. That was before cell phones even came out. That was before the internet existed, just about. So um, I was around before the internet existed. If you can imagine what that was like. Um, that's why we have to explain what hang up the phone means to most of our children. Because they're like, what are you talking about? Um, But now, if you take a look at Star Trek now, and you see these tablets, and now you're going, and the communicators. Now you've got phones with touch screens, tablets with touch screens. Everything that happened there was an idea that pushed somebody, drove somebody to make the technology we have now. So everything that we saw on those ships, except for warp drive, um, is it exists. Replicators to a small degree. You've got 3D printers. Now they're doing it with lasers and glass. So now that they're literally printing almost out of thin air. Um, yes, they are disappointing, and I'll tell you why. And this is going to hinge on the political, because you see characters that you want, and I know everybody goes through this. You see two male characters that get along great in the show, they work well together. Why can't we just freaking leave it at that? Okay, why do we have the virtue signal on the shows? I mean, Disney is horrible at it. They do it all the time. You know, everyone's got to be like pronoun, and I've got to respect this pronoun and that pronoun. And look, we pretended in kindergarten and didn't change reality. Then we grew up and realized what reality is. And we knew when we were playing pretend that we were pretending. Now, those who are pretending now consider it, an, I don't know if it's an illness or a body choice or whatever they want to frame it as. But you can play pretend all you want. I'm not going to. I'm going to call what I'm going to call it what it is. If it's a duck, it's a duck. Okay, even if it's wearing wolf skin, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use. It's I get tired of the conversations, the wasted time in public. If somebody is like, well, that's misgendering and this and this, and then you misgendered me, and I'm like, how did I misgender you? What are you? You know? Well, oh, I identify as. No, I didn't ask what you identify as. What is it? What did it say on your birth certificate? Better yet, biologically, what were you when you were born? And if that's what you are, I'm going to say that's what I'm going to reply to you at. If that bothers you, I'm sorry. I don't care that it bothers you. I don't care. And the reason why is because if this ends up being some kind of mental illness that drives you to do something to yourself, why would I reinforce it? Because all you're going to do is go out and maim your own body. Then you're going to regret it. It's like it's going to be an Ellen Page thing. You know, uh, I remember Ellen Page when She was working in movies. She was the cutest little actress, and then all of a sudden, Hollywood turns the tide to virtue signaling, and all of a sudden now we've got Elliot Page. But now she's mangled. She's mangled. It took what God gave her and just threw it in the trash. You know, disrespected her own body over what? Being accepted by a bunch of Hollywood moguls that don't give two shits about you except what you can make for them. Because once you get old enough and you ain't making money, they toss you away anyway. Why change who you are to make them happy? They're just going to toss you out in the trash when the time comes. That's what Hollywood is. It's always been that. And if you guys think I'm just being, you know, disrespectful to this group of people or whatever, get over it. It's just I was around long time before the internet was, and we didn't have these problems. The problems is now everyone has a social platform to get on and complain about the people who put in the sidewalk that they stubbed their toe on. and it's pathetic. Get a hobby, you know? Just get over it already. And that's the truth. I'm sorry. I don't care if you agree with me or not. It's all about your own personal perception. And if you don't have the respect for yourself to be happy with what you are, then how are you going to be happy with what you try to change yourself to be? Because at your core, you're still that person. You're just dressed up like Ronald fucking McDonald. And you can use and if you want to walk around with a septum ring in and purple hair, that's one thing. That could be just a style. But once you associate that with a group of people, like these are the pronoun people or the left or whatever. I mean, they did it to themselves. They wanted inclusivity, so they divided themselves from everybody else. That doesn't make any sense. They wanted to eliminate racism and cultural deprivation of other people. And instead, they have segregated everybody else. It's like now all of a sudden they're against illegal immigration, or they're not against it. They're against us and deporting illegal immigrants. Okay, fine. If you're all for it, make room in your house for them because that's what you're saying. They had the right to be here. Well, no shit, they got the right to be here. If they come in the right way. If I break into your house, you're going to call the cops. But if I knock on the front door and I'm invited over for dinner, it's another thing, you know? Then you know I'm there. You're making dinner, you're feeding me, you're sitting there with me, we're talking, we're having a conversation. The other end of the spectrum is I break into your house in the middle of the night and you're calling the cops. Or you're someone who defunded the police, and what are you going to do then? You know, just talk to me? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. We have you guys took logic and you made it illogical. And then you take the illogical outcome of what you've done and wrap it in virtue signaling. And then when somebody puts facts in front of your face, all you do is whine, cry, and scream about it and walk away and say that it's fascism. So the truth to you is fascism. And the reason, and that makes actually makes sense to me that the truth would be your enemy because you can't even look at the mirror and see the truth. You got to be somebody else. How can you, how can you live with who you think you are if it was so bad to be who you think you were or you were before? Does that make sense? How can you hate yourself so much that you would go through all of this? And then most people just want to be out in the freaking, snow or whatever, holding up a cardboard sign that makes no sense. That's all they want. Some people just want attention, and that's all there is to it. I mean, because you know how many people have like the No Kings protests and stuff like that. Well, this it's a democracy, not a hierarchy, so there are no kings. And I love it when Trump responds to everyone and goes, "Hey, thanks for being out there and making sure there's no kings. I was worried." That's a funny. He's a. I wish he would come over here and like be on the chat. He's like he trolls the other people like crazy. He trolls everybody out. There's no kings and all this other stuff. And they're like, we have a right to protest. And then the protest turns into a violent riot where they're breaking stuff and trying to push into like a hotel where ICE agents are sleeping or something like that. And it's like, if you're breaking the glass on a building or pushing a vending machine through the front door, that's not a protest. That's destruction of private property. That's intent to cause bodily harm to somebody. You're going to get fucked up by the police. That's all there is to it. And then you're going to cry about it afterwards. Oh, another innocent person was shot because they tried to run over a cop with their car. Yeah, they're going to get shot. What do you think's going to happen? Cop's not going to sit there and be like, well, I want to be politically correct, run my ass over. No, he wants to go home to his kids too. If your dumbass put yourself in that situation, boom, boom, boom. I hope that knock at the dome woke you up a little bit because it sure as fuck put you to sleep. So, yeah, not sure how we got onto this conversation, but there it is. I get so sick and tired of it. I get tired of it. I really do. I'm not playing pretend with you motherfuckers anymore. That's all there is to it. If you don't want me to misgender you, wear a freaking name tag. I see an Adam's apple, it's sir. Bottom line. I don't even care if you shave that shit off. I can tell by the hands. That's all there is to it. And that's what I'm going to call you, you know what? Because that's what you are, not what you pretend to be. You know, if I'm like dressed up in a freaking, you know, grimace outfit from McDonald's, you know, I'm a dude inside of a costume. You're not going to identify me as Grimace. How's it going, Glory? Glad you could show up. Oh yeah, I hear you. I'll keep that in mind. Uh, man, I tell you, these guys. And another thing too, I hear a lot of bullshit from Jimmy Kimmel's mouth. He needs to shut up. He's an idiot. He's not educated. He doesn't have a funny show. He's not even a good comedian. Have you ever seen a comedian that's on the stage and they're trying really, really hard to be funny and they just can't do it? So it sounds so scripted. It's unbelievably pathetic. And he hates, you know, he hates the administration. You know, just like Rosie O'Donnell, but I think she's out of the country, so fuck her. Who cares? Um, it's just I don't know. For me, it's if you don't like the country, then leave the country. If you don't like the policies in the country, that's what voting is for. If you don't have an ID, you can't vote. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote. Just like I can't go to your country and vote in your elections. So if you got a problem with that, I'm sorry. You know, but that's the rules. If you don't like it, you know where the border is. That's how you got here. If you got all these virtue signaling people in the street screaming "Free Palestine" and you know, gays for Palestine, that'd be a funny. I want you all. I want you all to meet. I'll buy you all tickets to Palestine. You can all go right now, and you can all go free Palestine. See how it works out for you. All the gays who want to support Palestine, all the LGBT community that wants to support Palestine. You go over there and support them. Just promise me you're going to do it live on camera. Okay, because that shit's gonna be funny. Yeah, he cried when Hillary lost. Kimmel's an idiot. Straight up, man. I dare him to come on this show with me live and have a debate with me. It would last 2 seconds, and he'd be like, "I can't believe it. We lost." How could you not believe that you lost? How could you not believe that? During the last election, he had Shrek and Donkey running against Trump. Of course they were going to lose. It's Kamala Harris. She only knows 5 words and she mixes them all up in different sentences and everything. I mean, come on. And then the other guy, he's like being investigated for fraud. And everyone's like, well, your president's got felonies. It's like, yeah, my president's got felonies. I'd watch your mouth. Yeah, word pasta sells, right. I mean, she's like up there, she's like, all right, we're living in a time that has time. And that time moves forward. And that time is important in this day and age during this time. It's like, bitch, shut up, you know, or get a teleprompter. Ugh, I love it. I love it. I can put out my political stance out here, and no one can do a damn thing about it because we have a First Amendment, and because we had a First Amendment, we decided you better get a second one. Like you can say whatever you want, but you better have a gun. So we created the Second Amendment. You gotta love it. That's the freedom of this country. I love the freedom we have in this country. I do, and even for those people who like to protest or pretend that they're, cats or whatever the fuck. It's like it's just you have the right to do that, but just don't expect everybody else to play pretend. Okay, that's all there's to it. I mean, I grew up being the type of guy you hold the door open for a lady. If a guy is behind me is in a dress, you're opening your own door. Okay. And if you try to go into the bathroom when my daughter's in there, uh, that lady's gonna get kicked in the nuts. That's all there's to it. You ain't going in there with my girl in there. No. Act like are you that freaking delusional? You're gonna walk into a woman's bathroom dressed as a woman, thinking you're a woman. With my daughters in there, with as perverted as your mind is already to do what you've done to yourself, you think I'm gonna let you near my children while they're in the bathroom? Hell no. Hell no. No. You try to go in there and you pissing on the floor right at the door, guaranteed. And that's my point, Glory, because it's a guy dressed as a woman. That was kind of where I was going with that. you know. But they want to hate on me for believing like this kind of stuff. It's like if you, why is it? And I've seen reels on this. African Americans. I'm just gonna call them black people are literally saying, why are black people acting like they're owed anything from the people who were slaves? Those people were owed something. The people now, he even said it himself. You guys have seen the reel. I forget the name of the guy. He said himself, he goes, what they have now is what those earlier slaves deserved, which was freedom, everything else. Black people can go around and call people white people honkies or whatever. They can call them whatever they want. But if we say something, then all of a sudden, everyone raises up their hand and covers their mouth. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Fuck that noise. This shit goes both ways. Now I'm not racist at all. I got lots of friends, different ethnicities. I got a friend that's half Mexican. He was digging under his fence. I said, dude, you're already here. Why are you digging? And it's like and it's on his property. So it's just being funny. He laughs it off. He knows that. Calls me a big liberal all the time because he thinks it's funny. Because he knows I'm not. He knows we're both not liberal just because of all the stuff we have. But the point is, uh, the racism part. And look, if you're gonna say that white people are racist, then so are black people, so are brown people, so are yellow people, except the ones from Japan. They kind of after Pearl Harbor, they kind of thought, well, maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. Um, So, and that led me to a difference. I met a Japanese nuclear physicist that had discovered a way to cure the radiation sickness that the people had been, some of the survivors of Hiroshima had suffered. And he said he accidentally discovered. He said it was the second biggest surprise of his life. And he survived Hiroshima, by the way. You can guess what the first one was. My black friends don't like. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I can't say. I would say it just because it's just a word. They've just associated it, and you know what they do. But YouTube would be like, "Oh no, my skirt," So that's they'd freak out. Um, but that's what that one guy was saying. He goes, they can use that word all the time. They can call other black people that word, but that word was used on the slaves during the slave trade. And by the way, the first slave owner was black. Just the first plantation owner who had black slaves was black. I don't, you guys need to do your history. Um, so yeah, there's that. And they were sold to him by other black people from their own country. So no, there's no mention whatsoever of the Chinese that we had building the railroads, or the European, the Vikings, the Scottish people. We were slaves before you were. So it's like, get over it. Shit's done and over with. We abolished it. Get this: the Democratic Party, which most of these people support, back in the day, you remember Lincoln, right? The Democratic Party killed Lincoln for freeing the slaves. And you guys are still Democrats? They don't look at history. They look at what's right in front of them to virtue signal, to get attention, or to, like, you got AOC on the screen. It's not a riot. They need to feed their family. What, with a Nike freaking swoosh or a pair of Jordans from the shoe store? Because they're not at the grocery store looting. All I gotta say, hell with that noise. Anybody who's falling for any of this media BS right now, that's stupid. Use your heads. Look around. You know? Yes. It's like nobody wants to be educated. They just want to be victims. You had a Sunni Muslim friend and told me I didn't need to try to make any more, but I had some. Well, hold on, I missed something here. I'm missing something in that last one. Corey. Asians are cool. I, I like Asian. I like people from the Netherlands. I like people from Sweden, France, all the other people. Australia, yeah, they're okay, but I miss a couple of friends I had over in Australia who worked for the Golden Circle Cafe, and Marty, Jess, a couple other guys that worked there. Jess was it was Marty and Jess, and then there was one other tall guy. I forget his name. Man, I feel bad about that, but that was 30 years ago. Um, but yeah, Australia was a great place. I missed it. I went over there before I went to the war because I knew it would probably be my last fun overseas adventure. But well, the war ended up being fun. Did you say Kiwis are weird? like the little fuzzy fruits. Sounds bad. Like those kiwis, not the fruit. All right, I'm missing something here. I haven't been reading the chat, Rory. I apologize. The green people? See, who's the green people? The leprechauns? Is that who we're leaving out? Are the leprechauns? Gosh, we need more people. I want more trolls to come in. This is more fun. But see, when you start talking politically, you start talking stuff like they like to censor you if they can. New Zealanders. New Zealanders. I think they're good people. I do. Um, I even have a couple Russian friends that I've met online, and they're cool. Um, met a couple Ukrainians. They're cool too. Um, I think that the war that's going on over there is horrendous, but what can I do about it, right? At the same time, Glory, or are this, or were they both the same? Were they both the same lady? At the same, it was at the same time. Good on you. Good on you, mate. Someone's got to be a good farmer and plant seeds, right? YouTube is sensitive to me smoking tobacco from my pipe. Yeah, they must have been close friends. Real close. You had one on either side of you. Gloria over here talking about threesome and shit, man. I got like two viewers, Glory. I think you're both of them. No one shares my channel. No one shares my content. That's all right though. I don't care. Oh, it was your first threesome. uh, I've never had one of those and don't intend to. Um, I've been married almost 17 years now. At the end of this month, at the end of April, will be my 17th wedding anniversary. And it's I see the world and how quickly people are getting married and divorced nowadays. And I go, well, this, yeah, when you're nowadays and you get married, you gotta get a what DNA test and make sure that the person's male or female, and then you know you're jealous of me for being married. Well, you know what? It's a blessing to be married and have a good relationship with your wife. My wife's my best friend. Always has been. And it's the right one because when you finally get together and you're like the feeling you get is not like, hey, this is new. It's like that's what that's what finding the right person is like. And that's what I found with my wife. And she's my best friend. We joke around all the time. We read the Bible together. We discover new things about the texts. She's been studying. She has her um, bachelor's in biblical studies and science and apologetics, and she's going for her master's. So yeah, I mean, she schools me on it all the time. Yeah. Your closest friend married, and their wives are also my good friends. I, however, have a difficult time trusting a single woman. Today it's a little difficult. Yeah, you gotta find Gen X, man. Yeah, you gotta find that's. I think that was one of the last normal generations. Um, because we learned how to survive out in the wild. Okay, it wasn't like it is now, where everyone's online all the time and constantly like this on their existential crisis rectangles. It's basically back then it was go outside, get the hell out of here, don't come back until the lights come on. And if we were lucky, we got to stay out after the lights came on, the street lights. But we got up to some trouble, but we had fun. And no one gave a damn about I, identity politics or whatever else. We were just people, kids, being friends. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we wouldn't, but we were all better friends for it in the end. And that's the way it was. We had fun. That's how I got into all this science stuff, because one of the first things, what got me into science in the beginning was being electrocuted several times. Um, and at that point, I was like, I've got to get into science. I've got to get into engineering. Now I'm curious. It's like something clicked in my brain. It was probably half of it frying, but um, my grandmother sold our house when we were young, and my grandma raised us, me and my brother, and we moved into like a motorhome because she wanted to travel, right? And when you're a teenager, that's a hard life to live. Well, it didn't work out because she didn't have a lot of money to do anything with. So it was like, parking lot to parking lot to parking lot. And that was my teenage life, really. And then, after that, a few other things happened. I ended up going to the war. It was fun for me. I was happier to be in basic training than I was back at the trailer, when I was growing up. 'Cause we had a nice house too. I couldn't figure out why she was doing it. And then I realized it was because she wanted to travel and like follow the televangelists and stuff like that. And then I guess one of them went to jail. And then that kind of shattered her dreams to do that. And she kind of lost hope after that. So it was more or less about surviving in the world and trying to find a way to be and to find some entertainment in just being in a parking lot. You could watch TV unless you put gas in the generator, that kind of thing. You know. So yeah, I got up into some trouble. Um, Always found some kind of trouble out there, and doing being a teenager, living that kind of life. But uh, it all brought me to where I am. I can't feel bad about everything I went through and wish things were different when where it has me now, where it ended, where my life ended up, couldn't be better. With my wife, my children, the fun I get to have in the shop, going to war, everything led to where I'm at now. So you can't look back at your life and go, man, I went through so much. I wish it was different, because wishing it was different means that you don't appreciate where you are now, and you need to appreciate where you are now. And Even if you're in a rough spot, you get out of it. You'll get out of it. And most people don't have enough faith in God to realize that He's there all the time. So pray. That's what I can tell you. Pray. Um, because God saved me and He brought me a beautiful wife who, by the way, looks half my age. So, oh yeah, she's a beauty, and I can tell you right now, it's a blessing. My children, the friends I have now. I don't have a lot of friends. I've got a couple. I was always, and that was because I grew up sort of as a solitary individual, and I didn't go to a, I didn't go to high school. I went to, I took the test at 14. Started going to college at 14. And it wasn't because I was overtly, overly smart or anything like that. I just, I understood things um, more than others. I just was curious about things. You see a wooden table, uh, I see hydrocarbons and oxidizer surrounding it and things like that. It's just weird the way I see things. So I have to experiment. But not that's not what the electrocutions came from. The electrocutions came from the motorhome because it was improperly grounded. So every time I touched the door handle, I was hit with 110 volts every time. I mean, it was so bad if you were inside the motorhome, you didn't even want to touch the door frame because when you jumped through it, you could feel the static electricity from the electromagnetic field that was around the door frame. It was like jumping through a portal. But yeah, I can't even count the number of times that I have been electrocuted. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I have absorbed enough electricity to satisfy the death penalty 5 times over in most states. So there's that. Um, I don't think you did too much damage. You go to town and can't walk through Walmart without having to shake a dozen hands. Come home and faint talk to anyone on my YouTube buddies and my military friends, like a little circle. Yeah, just usually that's the way it works. You know, I mean, most of my family's um, gone. Most of my where I came from, is pretty much gone. So, and I really didn't really. I knew my father. I just didn't. He left when I was like a year old. So, and my mom was disabled. So, um, my grandma's the one that kind of did the raising, and that was more of a um, it was strange. It was a strange upbringing, I was kind of disappointed that we moved out of our house, but at the same time, I was glad because there was some kind of presence in that house. I did not want to be. It was scary. Um, I I when I was in the backyard, I always felt like there was someone standing right behind me, and I could feel that presence, and it was scary. In the house, I'd have bad dreams all the time. It was just I don't know what happened in that house. I just know that it was a bad house. Um, it was weird because it had a mural painted on the wall of just like a woodland scene, like rivers and mountains and stuff like that. And it had a frame put around it, but it was a physical frame that was put around it, but the mural was painted onto the wall, and I never knew who did that painting. Um, it was very peculiar. And then I know that there was something happened in that house. I could feel it. And I still feel it in my gut right now. It kind of makes me feel uneasy. But it was scary. I could feel the presence in that house. And my grandmother was, I don't want to say clairvoyant because that sounds very counterintuitive to our faith system. But she had her eyes opened on several occasions, and she would freak me out, man. I mean, she would. Like one time, she was sweeping, and she like all of a sudden she freaked out, and she said, "Get out of my house." She was sweeping stuff out of the house. I couldn't see anything. Whatever she saw, she explained afterwards. It was just these little demonic creatures running around the house. And then there was like in our bedroom, there was a taller one that went up to the it was as tall as the ceiling, just a demonic looking creature. And then outside of the house, we had a huge oak tree. And she said outside of the house there was a huge serpent wrapped around the tree, and it was giving commands to the demons inside the house, but it couldn't come in the house. And when she told me that, I was like, I don't know, 7, 8 years old. And I'm like, thanks for terrifying me. That's wonderful. Um, but I didn't know how to explain to her when I was younger too that I was having these really weird, very scary dreams. I know that the broom closet at the end of the hallway, before you get like out of the hallway into the living room and dining area, um, something happened in there. I could feel it in there. It presented itself as just you know what I'm talking about, that unseen presence kind of feeling. But it was the light that surrounded it. It didn't really surround it. It kind of edged it with sort of a bluish light. And but I couldn't see whatever it was, just the presence of the light. And it was a constant. There was also smaller kind of uh gremlin looking things that had like black hair, and they were like short. They would run around, and they had the claws on. They had the long, just like brownish, bloody looking claws on their fingers. And I'd have dreams about them frequently. And and in the closet, that closet was so freaking scary. I wanted to stay away from it. And it was terrifying. But and then I get older, you get to see these paranormal channels. And I'm thinking to myself, this is funny because one of these days on the next live, I'm going to do this. Because I've seen this like Huff and Hope Paranormal. I'm not trying to knock them or anything like that, but come on, you're not talking to dead people. That's all there is to it. I lived with a woman who could see. I lived with a woman who told me 3 days in advance what was going to happen in the future, and no matter what we did to stop it, it happened. I've lived with the supernatural. Okay, you're not talking to dead loved ones. You're not talking to people who have passed on. You're not. What you are doing is talking to a guy on YouTube through these paranormal channels that understand how to use a noise gate, a reverb pedal, and celebrity audio of whoever they say they're talking to in a past life now. But they've run through that noise gate and the reverb pedal through the amplifier. And I know this because I played guitar for a very long time. So I know how the pedals work and I know exactly what they're doing. The noise gate lets specific volumes through. The reverb takes care of the rest and adds the echo. And then you hear through pareidolia what you want to hear based on the question. So the question sets up what you expect to hear, and then the sound that comes through is a portion of the voice of the person that they've taken an interview of from off the internet. And they're using that celebrity's voice when they say that they're talking to this dead celebrity. And then they use the noise gate to only let specific volumes through. Reverb handles the rest, amplifier, and then whatever these weird crystals and lights and copper wires and crap that are wrapped around. It's all a hoax. It's all a hoax. And they make tons of money off of this all the time on these channels. And it's all a hoax. It's all BS. I can recreate it all up next live. I'll do a live tomorrow. I think I'll do a live tomorrow if I don't have anything going on. I'll do a live tomorrow. I'll bring out a small amplifier. I'll bring out two pedals, reverb and a noise gate. On the tablet, I'll play a interview with a celebrity of your choosing. Put it in the comments. Um, and then I will quote unquote talk to the person who has passed, this celebrity, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Um, the fact that they're banking on this thing, like psychics and stuff like this. Oh yeah, I talked to your mother and this and that, and they want to deliver a message. That's just all BS. It's actually the cruelest thing you can do to somebody who has lost a loved one. It is so cruel to bank off of their loss. And that to me is the most pathetic form of human interaction I could ever think of, was to take advantage of somebody's sorrow for views. Um, Huff and Hope Paranormal, you guys should both be ashamed of yourself. You know exactly what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Don't deny it. Don't lie about it. If you want to look me square in the face and say it, then go for it. You won't be able to say it with a straight face. You know exactly the bullshit gameplay you're doing right now. You know it because I can reproduce it really easy. It's simple. And I used to refute this stuff on a I actually forget which radio show it was. It was there was a lady who wanted to do a show called the Stitch Witch Hour. And he needed someone like me to be the guy who refutes the evidence, understands the technology, and to explain what's going on. And the conversation went from the dead to aliens to everything else, right? And I was Tallahassee on that show. It was the Stitch Witch Hour. Um, I was the voice of Tallahassee, obviously, and I it was a funny show because I knew what I was doing. I was basically debunking everything they were saying. And if you put any look, the only power a crystal has is piezoelectric. Okay, they use them in lighters. Okay, outside of that, they don't have any powers. Okay, there's no supernatural power in a crystal. Okay, it's a rock. It's a sediment rock. It's a grown crystal. This is how things happen. There's no power in it. Can it produce power electrically? Yes, it's called piezoelectricity. But it's not supernatural. As far as like afterlife cleansing of the chakra bullshit, whatever all that other crap is. You want to cleanse out your system or something like that, go get a colon cleansing. Okay. You'll feel better than if somebody tries to clear your chakra. That shit's funny. Gosh. See what I mean by the viewers? Nobody cares. Am I not putting out entertaining content? Is it that bad? Really? Is it just because I don't have a cleavage? Is that what's going on here? I have no idea. The view counts are horrible. I mean, come on. YouTube, fix it. You said yourself you had problems with your view counts. Give me a second. At least it's raining, you know. Would you like me all to read you a story? I could use whatever voice you'd like. I would read a book to you, but I'm sure I'd get a copyright strike. But I definitely have the I'll read you a storybook voice going on. Pipe does it, yeah. Stay lit, you son of a bitch. Come on. Ugh. I know there's a guy on YouTube that I've seen before who actually has a pipe, and he talks about the tobacco he uses. And it's like, I'm jealous of this guy's pipes and his tobacco. And he reads books online. But to be honest with you, I don't see how they get away with it without copyrights. Can you read a book online from somebody and not get a copyright? I don't know. I'm not even sure. Because I would use my voice through my Rode into one microphone and read you whatever it is you like. I'll even talk you to sleep. And you're like, we already are. uh, I'm even afraid to do any impressions on here because of copyrights and stuff like that. Like Bilbo back. What have you been hiding? Hold on, what? You're 13. You usually got away from the fairy dust, we'll call it. Frequented my house. A promiscuous woman frequented your house. You sent me sunshine? Aw, thank you. Why isn't your name blue? I thought you were a mod. That's weird. Maybe it's just saying that you sent the jewels. I got like one viewer. I think the counts are still off. They were saying something about the live counts in the chats and stuff are off. So I doubt I'm gonna get any watch credit for this. Um, but I'm trying here. Okay. Question still remains. If you guys want me to read you a book, I'll use my book reading voice, and I will accompany it with pipes and whatever book you want. Probably a J.K. Rowling book. I shall read you Lord of the Rings. Uh, oh my gosh. Stay lit, you fucker. I won't read any Harry Potter books. That shit's annoying. But Lord of the Rings, yeah, I could do that. If it's not a copyright strike, it's probably going to be one though. I don't think I could do it. I don't think they'd let me. They'd be like, no, you're entertaining people and you're a nobody because you only have 32,000 subscribers, something like that. Seems like celebrities get away with a lot more than us normal folk, huh? I mean, what is it? Tiger Woods can roll cars just all the way down the freeway and just, and he's like, next day he's out playing golf. They're like, he's totally fine. His car destroyed three other cars, rolled over a children's school, and he's a celebrity, so he was let off of the warning. Yeah, stupid. But I honestly don't know. I know I was watching. I like to watch. I won't say his channel name because I've said some stuff out here that's probably offensive to most people. And but he shows the news online, and I like to watch him. And he was saying that they had problems with super chats and they had problems with viewer counts and lives being noticeable and things like that. It's like how is it that YouTube stop handing everything over to AI and work the problem? Okay, um, so we can get some content out there. You know, did I say a few keywords that hurt your feelings? YouTube, is that what it is? It's already stated on my lives that these are not made for children. So as an adult, I should be able to say whatever the hell I want to. But no, let's not show it to anybody. It's crazy. It really is. But I'm like going like from one tangent to another. A lot. It's just the way the ADHD brain works, right? It's like, I build drones. Screw everything else. No, I don't like what you're thinking. No, I'm not this. No, I'm not that. Do I care about immigration? Not really. I mean, it's like, I don't know. First Amendment, Second Amendment, we're free. War in Iran, that kind of thing. It's just, and I mean, everyone's against the war in Iran. They're like, leave Iran. There's always a certain section of people that are in the United States. They're like, we don't like this country. America needs to stay. Well, then leave, for crying out loud. If you're going to stand on my streets waving the flag of a foreign country and you are against our country, that makes you a traitor. So, at best, if you're a citizen, and if you're not, it just makes you, the next person ICE is going to pick up. So, I mean, I should be allowed to do the same thing that you guys are trying to do in the street. If you're going to try and burn my flag, I'm burning all of your flags. Iranian flag, Mexican flag, all that stuff. And I got no disrespect for the hardworking people that come to this country legally and want to make a life in a free country. What we want from the rest of you is to not ruin it. So shut up and get out if you don't like it. And if you don't like ICE going around and deporting illegal immigrants, don't be an illegal immigrant. Be a legal immigrant. Because I know this is what the country was built on. But people go into the stores and they buy stuff with money. And then when people go into stores and steal things, then they have to take that stuff down and put it away. So they ruin it for everybody else. That's kind of the point. Do you see where I'm going with this? Uh, It's not that hard to figure out. And if anyone dislikes me for any reason, for any of my views, too bad. I got to listen to your BS in the streets so you can listen to me. Mm. Coffee. A few pleasures of the world, right? That glorious bean juice. Where are all my trolls at? They all give up on me? At least they were doing some talking, right? YouTube probably cut me off already. But I'm going to just sit here and look pretty. Wait for somebody to come in and watch. Mmm, pretzel. Um, oh, great. I eat a pretzel, then somebody shows up. What is it? If you have anything to say, contribute to the channel in the chat. What's going on in your lives? How are things going? I know it's only the end of March, but has anybody been hopeful that the end of this year comes quickly? I'm gonna put up my damn Christmas tree. Oh, I tell you. Did she say I'm so pretty? Well, I mean, not really, but I could see where you could, be drawn in. You're the one that's beautiful. That's why I'm so lucky, among other things. Well, at least you're on here watching me. Oh man. Sometimes I wonder why I even try with these lives. And my content. It's like, does nobody like engineering content? I guess not. I try to make it fun with the Hellfire missiles and the rocket engine. And my neighbor even brought back the one I fired off the last time. She's like, "Is this yours?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is." I guess she went out for a morning coffee and like found it. It was funny watching that thing launch off because it looked like it had a target. Because it just went out and up, and it's like, "I'm out of here. I see ya." That was funny. But my next project is going to be with a couple pairs of these right here. This is going to be fun with a 24 cell system, 100 volts. And of course, the massive propellers that drive them. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. It sucks because I can't show it all to you because it's for the DARPA challenge, but ugh, eventually I'll be able to show it to you. But I mean, this is some thick hardware right here. I'm telling you. Ugh, that's a big motor. That's a big motor. What surprised me was the fact that it's heavy too. What surprised me was the fact that the ESC was even bigger. Hold on. Let me get this out of here so I can show you. That's a big ESC right there. AMPX, 200 amp, 24S. Big, big. 12 to 24S. So I could run 12 if I wanted to. But I have a couple other 12S's. I think they were 12 to 14. Or no, they're 18. They're 12 to 18S. Or was it 5 to 18S? I never understood why they did that. They're like, this one will be 5 to 18S. I haven't really run into any LiPo batteries that are 5S, but yeah, whatever. But that's just some of the big hardware that I'm working with. This obviously is one of the batteries for the drone. This is a 12S. There's two of these I'm hooking up in series, and that's my 24-volt system, 20 amp hours. The big drone, a very big drone, which is why I kind of have to have all this stuff. The charger alone was expensive. I'll tell you what, though, this is a cool charger. This was the one that I had to figure out. This was the one I had to figure the ports out on because Mad Components wanted to get they wanted to sell me an adapter because this is obviously a 14S plug, but I had to do 12S because this has an orientation port on the side of the actual balance plug. And then, of course, it's a CAN port. So it's supposed to look for a handshake on a smart battery. Well, you don't need that apparently. They're like, you need an adapter that goes here. If you send us $40, and I did a video on this, it was my latest video. You can see it, the entire email string. First, they said that they couldn't send it to me, or that they would send it to me for free. Then they couldn't send it to me without the shipping, and then the product didn't exist at all. And now it does exist, but you have to pay the shipping. They really just wanted the shipping money from me, is what they wanted. But you don't tell somebody you can have it for free and then say you got to pay shipping. I've already paid shipping for all the stuff that you were supposed to send me, and you told me you were going to send me the adapters. And then I just found out exactly how to adapt the balance port off of that battery pack to this, just by removing the index plug that I had on there and avoiding this little port right here for 14S, plugging it in from the very top down. And then it woke up the charger and charged everything perfectly. So this is a really good charger, charges things up fairly quickly. I mean, we're talking quick. I'm not going to have to wait very long from a dead battery, even with 20 amp hours. Maybe 20, 30 minutes tops, and it'll top the battery off. And that's at a regular charge pace. I haven't even tried fast charging yet, but I like this charger. It's really, really good. Um, PC 1500, it's by Sky RC. It's definitely a good charger. It's if you're going to get a charger for 12S packs, I'd recommend that charger because that one's got the power. And who the hell's yelling outside? It's always something around here, you know. I'm not having to. I'm taking care of the property next door. If I'm not having to deal with some guy yelling at somebody else outside or trying to shoot at somebody outside, and I'm having to flashbang people across the street because they're trying to break into the building or something like that, and you know, somebody, I guess it was a gangs thing. It wasn't related to me at all. It was just a guy standing in front of my house talking to another guy. And then a car drove by and they tried to shoot him. Well, they missed because they're gangbangers. They don't know how to use weapons. Um, and the bullet went through my house, right through the by the front door. And then it was a 45 hollow point, so it lost all of its energy going through the stucco and the front of the house, which is a blessing. And it bounced off the ceiling in my house and went down the hallway. If it would have hit somebody, it would have hurt, but it wouldn't have killed them or you know, penetrated the skin or anything like that. Because again, they used a hollow point. That's what they do. You know, they think hollow points are cool or something like that, but what they don't realize is that um, all they did was make it safer to shoot at my house. I guess because it dumped all of its energy into the wall, and then the bullet just kind of traveled through the rest of the house at a much slower pace. And I was sitting in front of my 3D printer, like next to the hallway, and I'd been in the military for so long that having a bullet come through the wall past me, I just kind of sat there for the first few like first few seconds, and I was just used to it, you know. And it was just, and then I realized, oh, I'm at home, and then I got pissed, and that's when I went outside, and of course I was armed, um, and sort of handled my business. You know what I mean? So, um, but yeah, the one thing about gangbangers is the the only thing you have to worry about with these gangbangers that walk around armed is if you're not their target, because they can't hit their target. They just hit everything around it. So that's when you end up, having to worry. And that's why I worry, and that's why I provide as much defense as I can to my block, um, by whatever means necessary. Now, being sort of a tactician in the military, um, I can set a few things up if I need to make sure that there are no problems such as these. Um, I can't get into the details, but I can tell you right now, if you're anywhere on my block, you're on camera, and if you are on camera with a weapon trying to cause problems, um, I don't use visible lasers, so you're not going to even know you're painted. Um, so it's just the way it goes. So yeah, if the biggest thing is if in a gang shooting is, um, just pray that you're the target because you're not going to get hit at all. Um, it's just the way it is. Uh, I don't know what the viewer count is because YouTube's got everything all screwed up. I know the viewer counts were not really, um, accurate, but there's probably only 2 people watching me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Uh, there'd be more chat. I would get. I'd be able to tell on chat how many people were on, but chances are there isn't. So we'll probably wrap it up here. But I am going to disprove. I know what this channel is about, but I like to disprove stuff as well. So the paranormal thing, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna get the little amplifier out. I'm gonna get the pedals out. And I'm gonna get the pad set up. I'm gonna get everything set up, and so that we can do that because I think you'll enjoy seeing what I'm talking about. And I'll have to be careful about showing you the audio because it'll probably be off. Have you know what? I'll probably just use one of my lives or one of my videos, my longer videos. I'll use one of my lives because they go for a while, and then I'll be able to show you and without any copyright issues how this whole thing works. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to me in the afterlife tomorrow live on this channel, and it's part of science. And that's what my channel's about, experimental propulsion and science and experimentation. That's what it's all about. So that's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to me in the afterlife over one of those same devices that Huff and Hope Paranormal use. So I can show you exactly what's going on so that you're not taken by these shysters that are just trying to make money off you. Okay. Um, it's a cruel exploitation on their part. They should be ashamed of themselves. And they're not providing any real closure because when these people go home at night, do they actually believe what they heard? And that's the sad part. Um, and they don't care. They do it. They do it, and they they don't care what they're doing to somebody else. So I will show you exactly how it all works. So be ready to watch that. Other than that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody's here anyway, so who cares? Um, I've enjoyed talking to the people I did get a chance to talk to. It was fun. We had a few decent trolls. They tried really hard. They failed, but and then they gave up and left. Um, I don't know how to feel about that. You know, it's like, am I even not not interesting enough for the trolls on my lives because they're not sticking around, or is it supposed to bother me? Like if I let it bother me, will they stick around? I guess I don't know. Who knows, right? So, but I appreciate everyone that did stop by. Any new subscribers, I appreciate all of you. If you'd like to support the channel, you can become a member. I guess the super chats are broken. I don't know. That's what I was told by the news guy that I watch, which was just yesterday. I had no idea if that's been fixed or not. But Again, tomorrow, be here for it. I'll probably try and make it around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I will set up the live tonight so that you are notified of it tomorrow after I track down the equipment because I have it in the drawer over here somewhere. I know I have all of it. But we will talk to me in the afterlife tomorrow, live on Drone Power Concepts. And I know that sounds a little off because of the name of the channel, but that's what we do during these lives. It's not solely based on what I do in the shop. It's also about just chatting, having a good time, letting the trolls get their energy out, you know, so they can go back and sleep in the corner, and then having some fun. So don't miss it. You guys have been great. Love every one of you. Share and subscribe. Make sure you tell everybody because I'm going to get that thing set up for tomorrow, and then we are going to talk to me in the afterlife. Peace out.